What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, TV shows, video games, and yes, comic books. And comic books is going to be the order of discussion right now. And I'm a big DC fan. I like Marvel Comics. I like, a lot of the Dark Horse stuff, even though Marvel now has aliens and predators. So watch out for that. But I'm a big DC fan. I grew up reading DC comic books, and I want to talk about the problem that we're seeing right now with a DC character who became popular in the 90s and has kind of maintained a presence in the DC universe ever since, but man, has his history become muddled, and that's Connor Kent, Superboy. So we know that Connor Kent is a clone of Superman and a clone of Lex Luthor. But man, has his history really become muddled. You had the Connor Kent from this comic book line, the Superboy line from the start in 94? Yeah, 94. And I really like this character. Escaped from Project Cadmus after Superman died. The Newsboy Legion released him. Pretended to be Superman for a while. And eventually, after Superman came back, went out and did his own thing in Hawaii. Double X from Project Cadmus kind of kept tabs on him. And he ended up having this ended up being a very long run of comic books. It went well over 100 issues. And he eventually died heroically in one of the crises. Was it Infinite Crisis or Final Crisis? Somebody remind me. But he ended up having a rather heroic death. And then he was gone. But then the New 52 came along, and he was back. Albeit in a different origin story than he had before. Similar, but different. And this version was a subpar version to this version. Very subpar. And then there was a lot of stuff that happened with this character. And the Teen Titans in Forever Evil, they got pushed back through time. And then he meets up with an evil version of John Kent. And he's killed, but is he really killed? John Kent comes and pretends to be him. Everything gets really muddled for a long time with this version of Superboy. And then he's just gone. At Rebirth, he's just gone. Rebirth happens, and when Rebirth happens, we get the John Kent version of Superboy. But then, John Kent, who's a little kid, he goes off with Jor-El in the Oz Effect, and he comes back, and he's almost a grown man. He's in his late teens at that point. And he ends up joining the Legion of Superheroes in the future. He goes to college in the future. And now Superboy is back with the Legion of Superheroes. But it's Superboy John Lane Kent. Not Connor Kent. Not Superboy Prime. It's Superman's son is now the Superboy with the Legion of Superheroes. I know. But then Connor comes back. Connor comes back in Young Justice. And we start getting some more multiverse craziness with Connor. And clearly this Connor looks more like this Connor than the one from the New 52. And they've kind of gone through his history a little bit. So the question is, which one is it? I got a lot of the DC continuity has become so muddled with the New 52 and then with Rebirth. Rebirth wasn't really a reboot. Rebirth was still the New 52, but they put a lot of things back to the time frame before the New 52. There's a lot of retcons that just didn't make any sense. and they keep trying to retcon retcons, and they keep trying to fix continuity issues, and by fixing continuity issues, things get even more muddled. So when you've got this Connor showing up saying, I'm a product of the multiverse, you know, I existed and everybody forgot about me, but I'm here now, who remembers me? I don't know, I want to see DC do more linear storytelling. DC has become so married to this idea of multiverse, alternate realities, bringing back characters from before and retconning them to where they were never really gone, or if they were gone, it was a product of all the reboots that have happened. It seems very, I don't know, it's a lot. It really is a lot. And right now, we've got this storyline called The House of Kent that's taking place in Action Comics. And in House of Kent, we have got Superman literally teaming up with both of the Superboys. Let me see if I can find a picture. Well, here on the first page, you've got Superman meeting with Connor, trying to figure out their history. You know, where did Connor come from? Even though this Superman right here, this one, who's sitting here talking to Connor, trying to figure out where he came from, having never had any memories of this guy. Remember, he's got history with this Connor. But wait a second, does he really? Because during the rebirth, we learn that this Superman is actually the Superman from before rebirth. The Superman, the New 52 Superman died near the end of the New 52. Remember the last days of Superman, or the final days of Superman, whatever it was? He died, remember? And then this Superman took his place. This Superman who showed up during Convergence with Lois and a baby son. This Superman that showed up during Convergence, he was the Superman from before the New 52. So this Superman right here is supposed to have a relationship with this Superboy. But wait a second, he doesn't remember Connor at all. Doesn't remember him at all. But it even gets more befuddled, because he introduces Connor to his parents, who are still alive, because this is the Superman from before the New 52. Remember, New 52 Superman, his parents were dead. But no. His is still alive, because he's a Superman from Rebirth, even though it's still same continuity, right? It really is. So now, even though he doesn't have any memories of Connor, his parents remember Connor. Which Connor is it, by the way? I gotta believe that it's this Connor, because this is the Connor that they raised. So, this Superman, who has a relationship with the Connor from 1994, doesn't remember him at all. And now they're trying to figure out who he is. Is this the Connor from 94? I don't know. Is this the Connor that died in one of the crises? I don't know. Nobody knows. You know why nobody knows? Because this is a hot mess. This is a hot mess. So now, in the House of Kent, we've got Superman with Superboy, his son, with Connor, fighting bad guys together, but trying to find out why he exists. Now, to be fair, the storyline House of Kent is not done yet. This is only Chapter 2. Man, they better explain this, and they better explain it good, because there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history with this Connor. Remember, this Connor teamed up with Superman and Kara to fight Hell in the Krypton Returns, and Hell on Earth. Did those stories never happen now? I don't know, guys. This is getting crazy. I mean, I cannot fathom just how much of a mess the DC Universe in comics has become. I love DC Comics. I love him so much. And Connor Kent, this guy, who I think is also this guy. I think they're the same, even though he is not the same. I think they're the same. Connor's one of my favorite characters in comics. Connor just came onto the scene when I first started really getting into comic books. I really enjoyed reading this Superboy run. I've got them all. He's one of my favorite characters. So to see what a mess the DC universe has become as a result of the New 52, as a result of Rebirth, what's history and what's not. What DC needs to do is they need to create a timeline on what is official canon right now. Remember when Zero Hour came out? And on 0 Hour issue number 0, there was this big fold out. I have it back there, but I don't feel like pulling it out right now. There's this big fold out that had the history of the DC universe on it. They need to do that. They need to do that. They need to tell us what the history of the DC universe is with these major characters, because we don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with any of these characters. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about the current state of the DC universe. How muddled it's become with the reboots after reboots after reboots. You know, these stories are fun to read. These reboots are fun to read, but then everything becomes very muddled. What is history? What isn't history? And that's not fun for me. I like continuity in my comics. And there's not really much continuity here. There's just a whole lot of, was Superman killed by Doomsday or not? At one point, you know? We don't know. There's no history. We don't know. There's been so many reboots that we just don't know what's happened. So, let me know what your thoughts are on the current state of the DC universe. And, more specifically, tell me what you think. Is this guy? This guy? I don't know. Maybe they'll answer that in the House of Kent. But we don't know yet. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Guys, thank you so much for joining me as I get to rant on about these stupid comic books that I've invested so much of my life into. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, I appreciate you joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.